often say it's your favourite time of the year, the first pre-season session. How do you think it went?
I thought they were excellent. And the new lads, the old lads, the full squad come back really fit. Credit to Brian. Brian's put the running sessions out in the WhatsApp group, and the lads have had to show the videos, demonstrate what they've done. They come straight back in, bleep test. Everyone's at level 13, 14, really, really fit group. And that bodes well, which meant that we could get straight into the ball work, working on our shape. And then we finished with a little bit more running. But the lads have, taken to it. And you want to think that they've only just met each other, in this last week. They look like they've really hit it off as a group. So excited to be working with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair to say I've been to the last sort of 5 or 6 pre-seasons. I think that's the first time I've not seen anyone looking like they want to throw up.
No, it was incredible. We were, quietly, we were thinking, will everyone get to level 13 of the bleep test? Or will them dropping out at 10, 11, 12? And you've seen it for yourself, they all smashed it. And you look at the lads who got to level 14, the likes of Ennis, the likes of Donahue, the likes of Charlie Munro, etc. They look like they can keep going. The fitness levels are impeccable, and we always say, you come back fit, you look after yourselves, we can get straight on with the ball. We'd love to be full time, that we get 5-6 sessions a week, but we're not. So we've got to make sure that when we got our training sessions Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, we make the most and do our work with the ball. But we can only do that if the fitness levels are there. But as you've seen today, the fit group, and we're looking forward now to the pre-season.
Yeah, in terms of the group, obviously, there's quite a few new signings. We've announced 3 already: Charlie Munro, Jay Fitzmartin, and Lewis Coulton is we just announced. It's noticeable, quite a young sort of influx of players also, and quite tall. I think most of them are sort of getting up 6 foot.
I mean, it's a good time now to say that we're not going to announce any more, Tim, until we sell another 25 season tickets. I know it's got people talking. It's only a little bit of a laugh and a bit of banter, but if we can do it, it helps things along. But going back to that, we worked out on paper this year that our average age of the squad could be about 23-year-old. Take out Charlie Ennis, Curtis Jones, underneath that, lads are 25 and under. And like you said, we've gone with height. We've been able to, and again, credit to the budget, we've been able to stretch a little bit further this year and go into the National League North and bring the likes of Charlie Munro and other players. So that's good, but with it comes, there's a lot of 6-footers now in that side. So we know set pieces are crucial. We know the physical aspect of Northern Premier League is crucial. So we've learned a little bit, and we've tried to add little bits to it. But with that, we always want really good technical footballers and people who can light things up in the final third. Our fullbacks marauding forward. So we've kept to our DNA, but we have definitely strengthened because we needed to, because the league is so good, and you only have to look around the teams that are strengthened and the teams that are going to be there. We don't want to get left behind, but because we've brought these lads doesn't mean that we've got a divine right to be up there. We know what we've got to do, and our fitness levels and our work with the ball are going to be key in pre-season.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get an A-level in maths. I didn't take A-level maths, but my calculation was about 23 players.
Yeah, 23 players. But you've got, Jan Palinkast still away, Guy Hall still away. Curtis Jones didn't train, Dante didn't train, Woolers didn't train, with a slight injury. So, we're looking stronger. We've got one more addition to the goalkeeper. Sorry, I nearly said it then. Hasn't signed, so hasn't trained. So, all in all, we are going to be a big squad. But like I said, Brian Richardson once told me, he said managers don't pick football teams. He said players do. And the players come the 12th, 13th of August, they'll pick the 16 because they will have put the levels of performances across pre-season. They will showcase the fitness levels, and that'll be the 16 that go on display. And hopefully, the 4 or 5 that don't make it have got the bit between the teeth and think, no, I want a little bit of this and I'm going to work that a little bit harder. But that's the joy of a manager, and that's what I've got to do. And not everyone's going to make it. Even the new signings, they might not all make it. There's no guarantees in football. We hope that they will do. Our recruitment's been key, but you just never know in football. So, kind of our promise is that we work hard, we keep things professional, and we're looking forward to our first game next week against Barrow. But before then, we've got Tuesday, Thursday to get ready for.
Yeah, I mean, sort of talk about the number of players that currently have scored. I mean, basically, if you divide sort of 23 into 2, basically that's 2 players for every position. And
that's what we wanted. And Brian, when me and Brian sat down at the end of the season, that was a key thing. So, where we've just announced, for example, Lewis Coulton at left back today. We've got Guy Hall, where last season, with Doddy only coming back, there was times when Finn Armstrong had gone back. We only had 1 left back. This season, Lewis and Guy will fight it out. Centre midfield, we know we've got the options now with Donahue and Griffiths and Ennis, and now we've got Charlie Munro. We play 2 in there. We've got our 10s, we've got our wide men. We've got an influx of forward players. But it's making sure that we've got competition for places. And And we know the demands of not only pre-season, but the start of the season. You ask any manager or any player to go from August to November playing twice a week and then training on a Thursday. That's grueling on the body. It really is grueling. So we've played people through injuries, i.e. Donners last season, i.e. Jan Palinkas. This season, when people have got knocks and maybe fatigue, we don't have to risk them because we'll have able bodies and capable bodies to go and replace them. And that was a key thing about improving the budget. Only slightly, but every penny counts, and hopefully it'll just give us that little bit to keep everyone happy.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the budget there. I mean, the thing that underpins a budget in reality is season tickets, isn't it?
Of course it is. And, I know people will always, doesn't matter what you do, jump on bandwagons and say, that works, that doesn't work. But this football club has got an amazing fan base, and, touching 1,000 season tickets, 1,100 season tickets is unheard of at this level of football. I know that I think we're around about the 400 or 500 mark at the minute. My plea is, I don't want to be in the position we were last year where we didn't probably maintain it and we had to cut our budget back slightly. If people have got them extra pennies, please can you buy your season tickets? I know the minute that this budget can be confirmed that it's concrete, then I think I'll sleep easy at night. But it's a plea, and if people were questioning, kind of what will the football be like this season at Broadhurst Park? Well, I think people saw that last season. We were ravelled with injuries, but the back end of the season, a young, fit, hungry side winning 6 out of 8. We've built on that. We've kept it young. We've recruited very well, and we're encouraging people to get down. But that doesn't mean we're going to win games of football every week. But it does mean that we'll make the match day experience really special, and that can only be really special with the fans that are in the stadium. Like I've always said, there's nothing better than that. So if we can hit our target of season tickets, if you are watching or listening, please dig deep. And if it's not this month, then next month. But as soon as we get our target, then as a football club, we can start to look forward.
We were last both here on Wednesday night when you introduced all the players to each other. Basically, it was a player registration night. It's a time where they basically do all the boring paperwork, sort of filling forms in, bringing their ID, all that sort of good stuff. And you had a talk with them at the end. And one of the things that you said to them, which I think probably will resonate with all FC fans, is when it comes to playing the likes of South Shields, Warrington, those sides at the top who play football, we generally do well. And your message was, you don't want to be playing teams who are, with all due respect at that time, struggling, and us then struggle to break them down.
And that's not ability, that's mentality. Our mentality never changes, and hopefully now we've brought in more of a mental strength into the squad. And I did say that, you only have to look, your Buxtons, your Scarboroughs. I remember beating Scarborough here. I think we put 6 past them, and people were calling for Jonathan Green his head after that game. And they went and got promoted that season. And then we went there and Regan Linney scored. I think we drew 2-2. We did the same to Buxton. We've done the same to South Shields this season. We've been undefeated against Warrington. But it's the lesser sides that we've underperformed against. And I'm hoping that the new influx of players have got that mentality, that strength of character to get us over the line against the top sides, the middle sides, and the bottom sides. And that'll be the makeup of the playoff sides this season. It won't be who beats Macclesfield or Radcliffe or Worksop or FC United. It'll be the teams that can compete right across the Football League. And we've got to make sure that, we get off to a good start. I know people talk about the first game of the season. You don't win leagues on the first game of the season, but we just want to make sure that we're ready. We're fit, we're hungry, we've got our football ability right, our mental strength right, and we can hit the ground running, whether or not that's home or away. But it's going to be another season of ups and downs. That's every manager. It's a roller coaster ride. Ours has started today, and there'll be highs, there'll be lows. The mixed emotions across the season. But I've got a good feeling about this squad. And when we built it 4 or 5 years ago, that kind of same hunger and desire, I can just smell it today in that dressing room. So yeah, good start. I'm going away pleased today, but a lot of hard work to do between now and say the 12th, 13th of August.
Yeah, and without over sort of egging the point, we talk about consistency. I mean, there's sometimes when we were putting, I've been chatting to you before the game, and you're saying there's only 2 of those 3 or 4 players on the bench who are actually fit. We just didn't have that depth. It is important to sort of keep that depth and to give you the options when injuries come in and you're not having to bring loans in at the last minute.
Of course it is, and that's the talk about the overspend last season, which was widely blown out of proportion, really. But it was, when we had a slight overspend, we needed to bring that back, and there was times last season that we just couldn't fill the bench with paid players because the money wasn't there, and we had to put people on the bench either from the academy or injured players to get us through, or even name 14, 15. Now, and this is the work that's gone on behind the scenes, and the business plan, the vision, every bit of work that's going on that people don't see has made that we've got a budget that's better than last year, that can compete, I'm not going to say it's going to compete with the top sides, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse. It's given us a competitive platform to go and try and recruit a better clientele of players. In fact, not a better clientele of players. That's a disservice to people that have gone out. Basically a deeper clientele of good players that I can turn around and say, if it's not Donahue, it's Ennis. If it's not Ennis, it's Griffiths. If it's not Griffiths, it's Munro. Where, we were playing the likes of Chaz, playing Donners through injuries last season, or Griffiths who's come off because we didn't have that depth. Now we've got, like you said before, we've got probably for every position, we've got, double the number of people required for that.
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit of a cliche, and I try to avoid them, but it's often said that you can tell the strength of a team by who sat on the bench.
It's true, and I should be able to turn around to Luke Griffiths, Mike Donahue, or Charlie, whoever it will be, to say you can have a rest because these lads will take you play, and then you can be fit and hungry for the next week. And what I've always done, Tim, you can ask the lads this, if I've ever used Charlie Ennis, for example, if I've ever rested Chaz, I've said you'll start the next game. I've always come through with that. This year, you don't want to be chopping and changing your side all the time because people like to get rhythm and consistency. But people are honest in this squad and they know the bodies. And, if we've got to rest Michael Donahue, because he's only 70%, we can rest and we can rotate and we won't weaken the side. And there's been times last season where you go, Ennis isn't fit, or Donahue's not fit, or Curtis Jones isn't fit. We're trying to avoid that this season, and like I said, bringing the players that were brought in. I just wish I could round them all off now, but I'm not doing it until we sell the season tickets.
Okay, well, it will all be known this time next week when we're here, building up for the first game of the season first game of pre-season against Barrow. It's an exciting fixture, isn't it?
Brilliant. I think it's the start of a partnership, isn't it? Because Barrow are now here at Broadhurst Park. So well done for everyone getting that over the line. They'll probably be ahead of us in terms of the fitness stakes. They're already in, they're training full time. But if you look at our lads today, they look like they've been back in full time training. They look fit. So it'll give a chance for us to see what we're like against the Football League side. The results are relevant in pre-season. It's more about how we get used to each other as a group of people, how we move the ball, how we line up on our set pieces, how we are out of possession in possession. And that's the key thing. You can look at results, or, there's many teams that have looked at pre-season before and they haven't won a game in pre-season, then they've gone and won 10 league games on the bounce, or they've won every game in pre-season, then not won a league game. So for me, it's making sure that the new group comes together, because we have added a lot to it this summer, and that takes the time to gel and to bond. So yeah, we're looking forward to Barrow. Yeah, we're looking forward to Altrincham and then Clapton and Warrington, etc. But for us, it's just another training session and another opportunity for us to, gel as a team and move forward and get ready for the start of the football season.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to seeing everybody out on the pitch and also everyone back in the stands.
Brilliant. Look forward to everyone, and hopefully we can get a few through the turnstiles next week. Because one thing I have said to the new lads is that when this crowd's in full voice, then there's nothing better at Broadhurst Park. And I have noticed in the past pre-season games aren't as well supported, which is understandable because of money, etc. And people like their own time. But it'd be nice to get a few here in Broadhurst Park to show the new lads what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, to a man, that's every single one of them says one of the attractions is playing in front of this crowd.
Absolutely, and there is nothing better. And I'm coming up to 5 years now, and I still get goosebumps when I drive through there. I walk out on match day. That feeling is unbelievable, and I'm sure that come Barrow next week, there'll be a singing section on here that lift Broadhurst Park, and hopefully people go away happy and say, you know what, I want to see what's happening against Altrincham, because there seems to be a little bit of a new dawn or a new wave at FC. So encourage everyone, get down to as many pre-season games as you can do. Get your season tickets bought, and I'll promise that we'll be ready come the start of the season.
Hi, Charlie. First pre-season session boxed off. How was it?
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough, mate, as it will be for every single non-league player or league player going back into first day of pre-season. We obviously had a bleep test just to see where we was at with our fitness levels, which the management said that we got tested one of the last training sessions before we went away, and we had some targets. Due at the targets, then you had like a not as hectic schedule coming up in the next week or so. So I know that Brian's going to be taking some of the lads who didn't quite meet the target. So luckily enough, I was in there and met the target. So maybe not as much work for me, but no, it was tough. We got a touch on the ball, which not every club gets the opportunity to do that on the first day. And then we went into some 3-minute runs at the end, which really hard on the legs. So yeah, it was tough, but it's enjoyable. It's good to be back. Good to meet all the new lads, which obviously we'd already met this week. But yeah, enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, in the kindest way, basically, as a senior player, there was 5 players left on that last run on the bleep test, and you were one of them.
Yeah. Like I said, we had to hit a certain target, so it wasn't. So there was us 5 who hit that target. So we were lucky enough not to have to do too much coming in the near future. But yeah, it was a good experience. It's good to, like I said, to meet everybody and just be back out and back into that long slog of 10 months of football.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of sort of basically the sort of team composition, 6, 7 new players in today, a couple of trialists. Any first impressions of them?
Yeah, good first impressions. I mean, you can only go off obviously fitness, can't you? Straight away, the lads look in good condition. We've got some young, hungry players who had a profile before they come here. They've done well. They've not just been signed off for no reason. They've been profiled and picked out by the management team. So yeah, good impressions from everybody really. We didn't really do too much football as expected, but I'm sure over the next 2 or 3 weeks we'll get to see a bit more of them ability-wise and on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of sort of next couple of weeks, obviously we've got Barrow here next Saturday, and then a return, hopefully, Regan.
Yeah, on the Tuesday. Yeah, Regan's looking forward to that. Obviously, I still stay in touch with Regan. Is a good friend. So yeah, looking forward to obviously the first 2 games. Probably 2 of the tougher games we've got in pre-season in terms of level of opposition. Like Reynolds just mentioned, they're going to be probably a little bit ahead of us in terms of fitness, but it's just an exercise just to be able to get out on the pitch and test ourselves. We'll probably have do a lot of chasing, but it's pre-season and I'm looking forward to that, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting this season. Last season we had 12 pre-season friendly games. This season we've only got 8. Do you think that's going to make a difference in terms of prep?
I think that's just a personal preference that the managers made, just that we felt that we maybe overplayed certain players in not just in pre-season, but we started picking up niggles. It might not have been linked, but we're just something we've said, you know what, let's just try and change something slightly. We've come in a little bit later this week, maybe a week later than we did last pre-season as well. But we have been working behind the scenes. We've had runs that we've had to do before we'd come in. So the work has been going on behind the scenes before we turned up today. So yeah, like I said, it'll less pre-season games, but hopefully at the end of the day, it's all geared around to how we feel on that first game of the league game of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the reasons, obviously, why we came in a little bit later was that fabulous trip to Milan. Just talk us through the experience of playing at San Siro.
Yeah, obviously, it explains itself, doesn't it? Got the opportunity, even though it wasn't the final that we wanted it to be at the San Siro, it was still an amazing opportunity for some of the players to get the chance to play there. So yeah, that was brilliant. Obviously, it come at a funny time of the season because we'd had 4 or 5 weeks off or whatever it was before we went and tried to prep there. Not making excuses for why we didn't win the semi-final, but I definitely feel that if we'd have been in our season, it'd have been a lot closer game. But yeah, going to San Siro was amazing. That was last season, and obviously there's players who played at San Siro no longer here, and it's good to have memories with them and something that you'll think about after you stop playing. So yeah, grateful for that opportunity from the club and everyone who's made that happen. So yeah, but I'm ready for a new challenge this season.
Yeah, and if I may, obviously club captain.
Yeah.
You're obviously rolling that in because you've been sort of in charge of things like fines and the music and all that sort of stuff. Basically, it's quite a big role you're taking at the club because obviously you lead a lot of the training as well.
Yeah. It's something that I've spoke about with the management team for the last couple of seasons. Really, it's just something that I'm doing as maybe the next step for me when that time comes where I'm not going to play any longer, or when I'm not playing as many games as maybe I was the season before. So yeah, and I enjoy it as well. So yeah, club captain. That's I'm proud to be able to say that that's me. And then in terms of the fines and stuff, then yeah, I'm going to be in charge of that. Last year we had a couple of different players in charge of that over the course of the season, and it was too lax. So this year we're going to clamp down on it and make sure we've got a nice kitty come Christmas and summer nights out that we have in team bonding days, etc.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair to say, basically, there's a variety of fines, which I can't talk about some of them because obviously probably a bit for the dressing room. The one that always amuses me is the one where basically in training, if someone fires over the bar or over the fence, they have to go and
that's £2. That there's definitely a couple of lads who are culprits for that every single session. There's a couple today actually thinking about it, but The fines are all just, it's not just for the actual, it's more for the camaraderie and just for the banter, for the lads to just something where we can have a laugh about it, and also at the same time we can build a little pot of money up for the players as well.
Yeah, okay, well, it all helps with, as you say, with that camaraderie, just getting that team spirit together.
Definitely. Like I said, it looks like we've got some good lads. Like I said, they're all profile players where they've been playing previously. And like, I know that the management staff, pick not just on football ability, it's also on the personality in an individual. Do they fit the profile of player that we want here? I'm looking forward to us all, growing as a group over the next few weeks and bring on the games and obviously the league campaign.